Every spring, millions of homeowners walk outside, grab that outdoor faucet handle, and crank it open without a second thought. And every spring, thousands of them end up with water pouring through their basement ceiling or running down the inside of their walls, sometimes for hours before they even notice. I've seen the damage firsthand. We're talking ruined drywall, destroyed flooring, mold problems that cost thousands to fix, all because of one simple mistake. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to turn on your outdoor faucet safely this spring, step by step, so you can avoid a disaster. Plus, stick around to the end where I'll share a $5 trick that acts like an insurance policy against this ever happening to you. Let's get into it. Your outdoor faucet, whether you call it a hose bib, a spigot, or a sillcock, is one of the most overlooked fixtures on your entire house. And the reason it's dangerous in the spring has everything to do with what happened to it over the winter. Once you understand how it actually works and why it fails, the inspection process is going to make perfect sense. So let me explain what's going on behind that wall. Most homes built in the last 30 to 40 years use what's called a frost-free sillcock. Now, that name is a little misleading because it makes people think the faucet can't freeze. That's not true. What makes it frost-free is the design. When you look at an outdoor faucet, you see the handle and the spout on the outside of your house. But the actual valve, the part that stops the water, is not at the wall. It's attached to a long stem that reaches 8, 10, sometimes 12 inches back inside the wall, where it's warmer. So when you turn the handle off in the fall, the water shuts off way back inside where it's protected from freezing temperatures. Any water left in the front section of that pipe is supposed to drain out through the spout. Here's where the trouble starts. If someone left a hose connected over the winter, that water can't drain. It sits trapped in the front of the pipe and freezes. When water freezes, it expands, and that expansion can crack the pipe or the body of the sillcock itself. But here's the sneaky part. You won't see the crack while the faucet is off because the valve is closed behind the damage. Everything looks perfectly fine from the outside. The moment you turn that faucet back on in the spring, water pressurizes the pipe, pushes through that hidden crack, and starts spraying inside your wall. That's how people flood their homes without even knowing it. The water is pouring out behind the drywall where you can't see it or hear it. So now that you understand why this happens, let's walk through exactly how to do this safely. The first thing you want to do is go outside and inspect that faucet before you touch anything. Don't turn the handle yet. Just look at it. Get down close and examine the body of the sillcock where it comes through the wall. You're looking for any visible cracks, splits, or bulging in the metal. If it's a brass sillcock, cracks will sometimes show as a greenish line or a slight separation in the metal. If it's one of the cheaper zinc or pot metal models, you might see an actual split or a section that looks swollen. While you're out there, check the mounting screws. Make sure the faucet is still tight against the wall and hasn't shifted or pulled away. If there's caulk around where it penetrates the siding, check that too. Cracked or missing caulk means water and cold air have been getting behind the wall all winter, which increases the chance of freeze damage. Also, look at the handle. Try turning it very gently without actually opening it. If it feels seized up, gritty, or if the handle is loose and wobbly, those are signs of internal damage. A healthy silcock should turn smoothly with moderate effort. If everything looks good from the outside, head inside for the next step. Now you need to find the indoor shutoff valve for that outdoor faucet. In most homes, this is located in the basement or crawl space, directly behind where the outdoor faucet sits on the exterior wall. It's usually a gate valve or a ball valve on a pipe that runs straight to the outside wall. If you've never located it before, just go to the inside of the wall where your outdoor faucet is mounted and look for a valve on a pipe within a few feet of that wall. If you have a ball valve, the handle will be a lever. When the lever is parallel to the pipe, it's open. When it's perpendicular, it's closed. If you have a gate valve, it'll have a round handle you turn like a steering wheel. Clockwise closes it, counterclockwise opens it. Before you open anything, here's what I want you to do. Lay down some old towels on the floor directly below that valve and the pipe that runs to the outside wall. If there is a crack in the silcock, water is going to come out somewhere in this area when you pressurize the line, and those towels will be your early warning system. I also recommend having a flashlight handy so you can watch the pipe and the wall closely. If your shutoff valve has a small bleeder cap or drain port on it, which many do, make sure that's closed tight before you proceed. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it's just a small sample of what I've put into my new guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It's packed with step-by-step instructions for hundreds of repairs that can save you thousands. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let's continue. This next step is the most important one, and I need you to do it slowly. You're going to open the indoor shutoff valve, but you are not going to open the outdoor faucet yet. The outdoor handle stays off. What you're doing here is pressurizing the pipe between the indoor valve and the outdoor faucet so you can check for leaks inside the wall before water has anywhere to go. If you have a ball valve, turn the lever slowly. Don't just flip it open. Ease it open over about 5 seconds. If you have a gate valve, turn it counterclockwise slowly, maybe 2 full turns to start. You should hear the pipe fill with water. It might make a slight thud or a gurgling sound as air gets pushed through. That's normal. Now stop. Leave the outdoor faucet closed and wait. I want you to watch that pipe and the surrounding wall for a full 2 to 3 minutes. Use your flashlight. Look for any dripping, any moisture appearing on the pipe, any water stains forming on the drywall or the floor joists above. Put your hand on the pipe and feel for any wetness. Check those towels on the floor. If you see water dripping, stop immediately. Close that indoor shutoff valve right away. You've just found a crack in the sillcock, and you caught it before it became a flood. That sillcock needs to be replaced, and I'll cover what to do about that in the troubleshooting section coming up. If after 2 to 3 minutes everything is bone dry, that's a great sign. Go ahead and open the indoor valve the rest of the way. Now let's head back outside. With the indoor valve fully open and the line pressurized, go to your outdoor faucet and slowly turn the handle counterclockwise to open it. Water should begin flowing within a second or two. Let it run for about 30 seconds. You're watching for a few things here. First, the flow should be strong and steady. If it's weak, sputtering, or barely trickling, there could be a partial blockage or a valve that isn't opening fully. Second, the water might look rusty or discolored at first. That's normal. It's just sediment that settled in the pipe over the winter. Let it flush out for 30 to 60 seconds until it runs clear. While the water is flowing, look at where the sillcock meets the wall. Water should only be coming out of the spout. If you see water seeping out around the base where it goes through the siding or dripping from underneath the sillcock body, that indicates a crack or a failed seal. Turn it off and close the indoor valve if you see this. Also check that the handle doesn't leak when the faucet is running. A small drip around the handle packing is common on older sillcocks and is usually an easy fix, which I'll cover shortly. Now here's the step most people skip entirely, and it's the one that saves you from hidden damage. After you've confirmed the outdoor faucet flows properly, close the outdoor faucet. Go back inside and do one more thorough inspection of everything behind the wall. The reason is simple. When water was flowing through the spout, the pressure inside the pipe was lower because it had somewhere to go. Now that the outdoor faucet is closed, the full water pressure is sitting on that pipe and on any weak spots. A hairline crack that didn't leak while water was flowing might start seeping now that the full static pressure is pushing on it. So get your flashlight again and examine the pipe, the fittings, the wall, and the floor beneath. Check for any dampness that wasn't there before. I like to lay a piece of dry newspaper or a paper towel on top of the pipe and check it after 10 minutes. If the paper is dry, you're in the clear. If it's damp, you've got a slow leak that needs attention. I've been on service calls where the homeowner tested the faucet, saw it working fine outside, and walked away. 2 weeks later, they found mold growing in the basement because a tiny crack was weeping water behind the wall the entire time. Those 10 extra minutes of checking can save you an enormous headache. While you've got everything open and running, this is the perfect time to inspect the vacuum breaker on your outdoor faucet. That's the small round cap sitting on top of the sillcock, right behind the spout. Most codes require an anti-siphon vacuum breaker on outdoor faucets to prevent contaminated water from your garden hose from being sucked back into your drinking water supply. Pop that cap off by turning it counterclockwise or prying it gently with a flathead screwdriver. Inside, you'll find a small rubber gasket and a plastic disc or plunger. If the rubber is cracked, brittle, or deformed, replace it. You can buy a universal vacuum breaker repair kit at any hardware store for about $3 to $4. It takes 60 seconds to swap out. If the vacuum breaker is leaking or spraying water out the top when the faucet runs, that's almost always a failed gasket inside. While you're at it, if your outdoor faucet drips from the spout when it's shut off, that's usually a worn washer at the end of the stem. On most frost-free silcocks, you can remove the handle with a Phillips head screwdriver, then unscrew the packing nut with an adjustable wrench or channel locks, and pull the entire stem straight out. At the very end of that long stem, you'll see a small rubber washer held on by a brass screw. Replace that washer, reassemble everything, and 9 times out of 10, your drip is gone. The washer itself costs about 50 cents. Now reconnect your garden hose and do one final check. Thread the hose on hand tight to the faucet. Open the faucet and let water flow through the hose for about 15 seconds to flush out any debris. Then close the nozzle or kink the hose to build up full pressure at the connection point. Check the hose connection for drips. Check the silcock one more time for any seepage around the body or the handle. Go back inside one last time and verify everything is still dry behind the wall. Once you've confirmed there are no leaks inside or outside, you're done. Your outdoor faucet is safely online for the season. Let's talk about some common problems you might run into and how to handle them. First, if you found a crack in the silcock during testing, you need to replace the entire unit. A cracked silcock cannot be reliably repaired. The good news is that a new frost-free silcock costs between $15 and $30, and replacing one is a manageable project for most homeowners. You'll need to measure the length of the old one carefully so the new one reaches past the insulation and into the warm space. They typically come in 6, 8, 10, and 12-inch lengths. Second, if your indoor shutoff valve won't turn or is leaking from the stem, don't force it. Gate valves are notorious for seizing up after years of not being used. If you force a corroded gate valve, you can snap the stem and then you've got a real emergency. Try applying some penetrating oil and give it time. If it still won't budge, you may need a plumber to replace the valve. Third, if water only trickles from the outdoor faucet, you might have a partially closed valve, a blocked screen in the vacuum breaker, or, in rare cases, a piece of pipe that collapsed slightly from freeze damage. Check the simplest things first, then work your way to more serious possibility. Fourth, if you hear water running inside the wall, even when the outdoor faucet is closed, shut off the indoor valve immediately. That sound means water is escaping the pipe somewhere inside the wall cavity, and every minute counts. Fifth, if your silcock handle spins freely without resistance, the stem inside has likely broken or disconnected from the valve seat. The faucet will need to be replaced. Now for that bonus tip I promised you at the beginning. This is something I recommend to every homeowner, and it costs about $5. Go to your hardware store and buy a quarter-turn ball valve to use as your indoor shutoff for the outdoor faucet. If you currently have an old gate valve, replace it with a ball valve. Here's why this matters so much. A ball valve gives you a reliable, positive shutoff every single time. Gate valves corrode internally, get stuck, and often fail to fully close when you need them most. When fall comes around and you need to winterize that outdoor faucet, you want a valve you can trust to shut off completely with a quarter turn of the lever. And here's the real trick. After you close that ball valve in the fall, go outside and open the outdoor faucet handle. Leave it open all winter. This lets any water trapped between the valve and the spout drain out completely, which is exactly how you prevent the freeze damage we talked about at the beginning of this video. That $5 ball valve and that simple habit of leaving the outdoor handle open in winter is the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever buy against indoor flooding. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my complete guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It goes way deeper than we can in a single video, with 85 pages covering everything from clearing any clog to replacing your own water heater. If you want to stop wasting money on simple fixes, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Take care of those outdoor faucets this spring, folks. A little patience now saves a whole lot of trouble later. I'll see you in the next one.